It's about 3:30 p.m. on Friday, March 21st. Um, I've been getting more and more cranky about this deal that a major law firm made with Donald Trump Wednesday, so that Trump would rescind an executive order targeting that law firm. The law firm, their name is Paul Weiss and a bunch of other names. Everybody just calls him Paul Weiss. Paul Weiss is not a guy. Those are last names, but it's the Paul Weiss firm. And it's a historic firm. It was started in New York in the late, mid 1870s at a time when other respectable law firms would not hire Jews, would not hire Jewish lawyers. And so a couple of Jewish lawyers started this firm, and over years merged with other firms, and still predominantly Jewish back in the day, and has become an international, what's referred to as a white leather shoe law firm. It's one of the top 5 law firms in the United States, top 5 in New York, top 5 in Washington, D.C., and they have a reputation for being fighters. They have a reputation for being litigators, trial attorneys, courtroom lawyers who fight like hell for their clients. These are the guys that you hire when the government is coming after you. You hire firms like Paul Weiss. And when the government is targeting corporations or individual business owners, this is the kind of firm that you hire to fight back against the government. And they rolled over for Donald Trump because he issued an executive order that was going to make their jobs a little more difficult. Trump's targeting of law firms, well, first of all, Trump targeted this particular law firm because 2 attorneys who don't even work there anymore went someplace else and investigated and caused problems for Donald Trump years ago. That's small picture. But the chairman of Paul Weiss met with Donald Trump Wednesday or Thursday. I'm reading from the New York Times. He sought to reassure employees at the giant law firm that the deal it had reached with President Trump was consistent with principles that the 150-year-old firm has long stood by. That's a lie. On Thursday evening, the chairman of the firm, Brad Karp, sent a firm-wide email detailing the agreement he had reached with Mr. Trump, which allowed the firm to escape an executive order that could have cost it significant business. The order, part of a broader retribution campaign against law firms, threatened to suspend the firm's security clearances and bar its lawyers from federal buildings. You can't bar attorneys who are in good standing with their local bar association from federal courthouses. That's illegal, explicitly. Which would have made it virtually impossible for Paul Weiss to represent clients, in some cases involving the federal government. So fight back against the federal government on your own behalf. You've been doing that for over 100 years on behalf of other people. Here's the thing. Donald Trump has issued 3 executive orders against law firms. Perkins Coie, another one that started with Burlington something, I can't remember, and Paul Weiss. Paul Weiss is the first one to go meet with him and make a deal for $40 million. Paul Weiss agreed to provide Donald Trump $40 million of legal representation, pro bono legal representation, to represent causes that are important to Donald Trump. Causes that are important to Donald Trump go completely against the character and the principles of this firm. But that's not the point. The point of Donald Trump doing this is now, if the DOJ goes after Adam Kinzinger or Liz Cheney, who were on the January 6th committee, what law firm in Washington, D.C. is going to represent them? What law firm is voluntarily going to represent them? Not for free, they'll pay them, but what law firm is going to take those cases on against the Trump administration? What law firm is going to represent the two Federal Trade Commission Democratic appointed commissioners who were just illegally fired by Donald Trump, who said they're going to take this to court? What law firm in Washington, D.C. is going to represent them and take on the Trump administration, knowing that Donald Trump is issuing executive orders targeting law firms who take on such cases? That is the point. And Paul Weiss fucking rolled over for it. Fucking rolled over for it, man. That is incredibly destructive to the rule of law in the United States of America at the federal level. It's one of the most destructive things I've seen in this entire administration. And it was done by one of the most respected law firms on the planet. They are an international law firm. And it's like, if they can just do this without absolutely irreparable harm and damage to their reputation and good standing in the legal community, we're fucked. I mean, because people up here aren't going to be able to find lawyers to represent them against the Trump administration when the Trump administration targets them, let alone people like you and me. This is an absolutely disgusting and despicable capitulation by this incredibly well-respected law firm, and it happened like that. I think Trump issued this executive order on Tuesday. By Wednesday, their managing partner was in Trump's office, cutting a deal for $40 million. Not a principal was in sight. I've been a trial attorney for 26 years. I care about the law. I care about our court system, flawed as it may be. I think you're going to see a lot of people quit this firm. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a first or second year associate at this firm? You're 1 or 2 years out of law school. This is a top 5 firm that is known for its reputation for being aggressive litigators, the best fucking trial lawyers that you can hire. And you're in law school and you want to be a trial attorney, and it's your dream to work for a firm like Paul Weiss because they are fighters. And now you're in your first year or your second year, and your managing partner and the partners who agreed to do this with this administration. I would be sending out so many fucking copies of my resume, it wouldn't even be funny. This is not the principles that this firm has stood for 150 years, not by a long shot. This is the exact opposite of every single thing that this law firm has stood for 150 years. And their reputation deserves to be absolutely fucking destroyed, and should be. And if it isn't, then we have a problem.